welcome to another episode of the Breathe Life Daily Podcast, where insights on mental health is being shared and how we can improve upon our mental wellness, because mental health plays a great part of your life and influences your overall health. My name is Akinle Olaide and I'm a psychologist specializing in clinical psychology. Thank you for tuning in. For today's episode, I will be discussing about a topic I called anxiety, a twitch of fate. I will be discussing about what the topic anxiety means and why it matters, and I will also be discussing why positive events also makes us anxious, and I will also be discussing about tools we can use in managing our anxious moments. Thank you for listening. Okay, so what then is anxiety? Anxiety is an emotional state that includes feelings of worry, nervousness, or fear about something which might happen, and it involves a physical response, which could include a racing heart, tense muscles, and many other mental and emotional effects or behavioral responses. Anxiety can cause different reactions in a person's life or in a person's body system. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where anxiety took over and it felt like you were on the verge of losing yourself? Oh yes, it has once happened to me during an exam period when I forgot to take my exam pass with me to the hall. So I was delayed outside alongside with other colleagues, other students, and we were delayed for about 1 hour in the 2-hour course. So by the time I finally got into the hall and sat down with the question paper in my hands, I just could not control the tears rolling down from my face. And this is not because I didn't know the answer, but because when I looked at the time left for me to answer the question that is set before me, I realized that the time is going to be too short. And by then, I realized that I could not only just stop crying, but my hands could also not write because I was really shaking. My hands were really shaking, and my heart was pounding so fast. And I was like, oh God, I didn't sign up for this at the beginning of the day. This is such a roller coaster of emotion I didn't know I would have that day. No one plans to be anxious. Anxiety might sometimes feel like something sudden, involuntary, or out of our control, like a random act of fate. And that is why anxiety, it's sometimes a twitch of fate, something we don't have control over. Anxiety is future inclined, and it is your brain anticipating danger or uncertainty about things to come. We often think that it is only negative events that makes one anxious. Positive events also makes one anxious. Going for a promotional exam, asking a lady out, planning an event can also make you feel anxious, just as the way you would feel anxious for a negative situation. And it's just your brain sending a caution signal to you, and learning how to respond to this signal determines how well you make out of the signal. We can't blame our body and our brain for sending out the signal to us. And it's just a part of how we are created, and it is a signal from our nervous system. And this shows that our nervous system is functioning and is responding to stress or to threats. Many people experience anxiety because it's just as every other emotions that we have. Anxiety exists on a spectrum from normal and adaptive to a point where it becomes a disorder, where it becomes excessive and interferes with daily life. Anxiety can play out in different forms, from mental and emotional effects such as racing thoughts or constant worry to difficulty concentrating, or it can play out as a physical symptoms such as sweating or feeling hot, shaking hands or trembling, or even muscle tension or headache. It can also play out as a behavioral response such as avoiding situation or people, sleeping too much or little, reassurance seeking, and sometimes people eat excessively or don't eat at all during this period when they are experiencing anxiety. It is of our best interest when we learn to work with our brains and our body. in channeling this signal for our benefits. For me, at the exam period, I started feeling anxious because time was slipping away. I'd wasted enough time outside. Instead of letting that anxiety overwhelm me, I chose to rather work with it. And I recognized that feeling as a way of my brain telling me that yes, I have little time left. So I rather shifted that mindset of I'm feeling to a signal of I need to act and to work in a fast pace. And I was not even overthinking any answers at that period. So as it's coming to my mind, I'm just writing it down, and I did a general revision after. But if I'd been more relaxed, if I was not anxious, I might not be able to cover up all I did. So being anxious, it's not a bad thing sometimes. It is just how we respond to it that matters. For me, I had like 1 hour and some minutes, and I was able to do well, and with God's grace, I got a B in that course. But if I'd let the anxious feeling I had that day of my hands trembling and I couldn't stop doing other things, I might have failed the course. But I rather choose to see the situation in another light and respond positively to that feeling. So being anxious is not a bad feeling. It's how we respond to it that matters. It is important to learn how to manage anxiety, because anxiety is like every other emotion we experience, and understanding it makes us to channel it positively. And also, statistics shows an increasing number of people with anxiety, and anxiety disorders are the most prevalent mental health condition worldwide, affecting approximately 301 people million, or about 4% of the global population. In all, anxiety affects one's functioning. There are different tools to manage the emotions of anxiety, and the first one is learn how to relax your body. In a moment when you are anxious, then your body becomes tense. You should learn how to relax your body, and there are different ways. You can try the act of deep breathing. You can try the act of muscle relaxation. You can also try exercise, listening to music, talking with a friend. It all helps to relax your body. And also, recognize the emotions. Emotions are an important source of information and direction. So you have to recognize, what is this emotion trying to direct me to? Why am I feeling anxious? Maybe it's your emotion trying to tell you have more to do, or may require you to do some actions, which may include doing things which you're afraid of doing over and over again, or do things to give yourself a sense of control and mastery. Your emotions are valid, and you have to pay attention to it. You also have to recognize the thoughts that fuels these feelings of anxiety, because your thoughts influences your feelings and it influences your behavior. After recognizing these thoughts, then you have to reframe those thoughts to positive thoughts. For example, feeling that I can't do it is not the same as not being able to do it, so you have to stick with the plan. You must also learn to focus on the present and not put your mind on worries about the future. And also, you need to identify things that hinder you from staying in the present. Remember, anxiety tricks us into thinking everything must be solved now, so choose to stay in the present. There are different ways to manage anxiety, and these are just few selected tips in managing anxiety. You can drop in your comment section what ways works for you best. Conclusion: anxiety is an emotion like every other emotion that we experience, and it is essential that we know how to manage this emotion in order for us to have a healthy mental well-being. We've come to the end of this episode. To take out time to press the like button, comment, and I will see you in my next episode. In your life pursuits, ensure you breathe life daily.